Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Quarantine Kitchen Happy Hour. It is Monday, the 17th, and I decided to finally bring some real talent onto this show, okay? It's just been me all these weeks just cooking up on Mondays, and I finally need to bring in a little bit of spice to the show, okay? I'm just so dull and boring, and I just cook all this boring stuff. I want to bring on some new stuff, right? So I went out to a bunch of my culinary friends, you know, and I'm asking around town. It's like, hey, who should I bring on? Who should I have do a cooking class on my show? And this young lady's name kept coming up. One name, Shankari. Shankari runs Sacramento Spice, and I wanted her to kind of come on and tell us all about that. And she's just been, I'm seeing her all over the internet today, okay? So why don't I bring her on? Let's introduce her. Can you kind of tell us about Sacramento Spice and what you do?
All right. Welcome. I'm so glad to meet you finally because I've been hearing a lot about you as well. I've been hearing about you from American River College people, all the great chefs there. I've heard about you at the co-op. Sacramento Spice, we started this more for fun, my husband and I, when we were, you know, I was typing up recipes because friends would ask me for recipes and I'd go, okay, I'll type it up and send it to you. They were horrendous. They were typical housewife style, you know, and a typical Indian mom style, right? Because I learned to cook from my mom. So it'd be like a dash of this, a dash of that, and I would get a slap on the wrist saying, hey, do it right. And then I would try to work on it again and again till I got it right. So I started it more to just kind of, it was almost like my own diary of, you know, what I cook every day. And I still continue to do that. I just post on Instagram and Facebook on what, you know, what I've eaten, what I've cooked that day, or if I've gone to a restaurant that I really loved, then I'll share that. You know, just my own culinary journey was how I started Sacramento Spice. And
it sounds like, I mean, this is going to be pretty authentic stuff. It sounds like it was drilled into you from a real like East Indian mom, right?
yes. So I learned to cook from my mom and my sisters, my grandma, like, you know, and it's very typical Indian household where mom used to, my mom was a housewife and like my husband comes from a family where his mom is a doctor. So mom was working, dad helped a lot in the house. So dad cooked a little bit, mom cooked a little bit. In my household, my mom cooked a lot. My dad would walk into the kitchen once in a while and he'll cook a whole feast as well. So we've both seen families, you know, get involved in cooking, and it was a big deal in our families. And I learned to cook watching my mom cook. I never cooked when I was in my mom's kitchen. All I did was sit on her kitchen countertop, share stories about, you know, my school or my college or work, whatever it is, and just sit there talking to her. And I was watching her and I didn't realize how much I had learned just watching her. When I moved out and I started cooking, I'm like, boom, how do I know how to do these things? You know, because those were not the days of the internet. Gosh, I sound old, but
It just
yeah,
kind of soaked in over the years. That osmosis kind of soaked in over the years. That's so
yes,
great. And
yep,
as I said, just very, very authentic stuff. And this kind of reinforces that idea. The thing that I love is that the kitchen is the heart of the home. You know, it's just like, this is where you spent all this time. You're sharing these
yes.
memories from back in the day. That is super, super awesome stuff. So what is Sacramento Spice doing nowadays? Do you got any special classes coming up, or
Yes.
what's going on?
So, you know, with the pandemic, I normally give classes at the co-op and then I do private cooking lessons. I go to American River College and do a,
I may say your classes at the co-op always sell out, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah.
right? She always sells out those classes. She's a monster.
Yes,
Sorry,
it
go
sells
ahead.
out and there's always a waiting list. It's fun. What I have been giving classes at the co-op for over 13 years now. So people know me. I've become friends with them. My friends from, you know, teaching actually gave me a baby shower when we had our son. So it's pretty neat that we've, over the years, we have grown to become friends and they're like family now to us. With Sacramento Spice, what I started doing was during the pandemic, we had to stop giving cooking classes. And that's like my lifeblood. I love to do this. It's my passion. And I was trying to find ways to give back to the community. I was trying to find ways to do something. So I came up with the idea of starting to give virtual cooking classes in August. And I said, okay, it's high time we start doing this. So I started giving virtual cooking classes, and it's been a huge, huge hit. And I've given, I think I've had over 150 signups for the last 8 classes that I've done so far. And then we are doing some more classes in September. But right now I'm focusing on Feed the Frontlines 916. We're doing a fundraiser for them.
Well, this is another thing I wanted to talk about, right? Feed the Frontlines 916. I have been watching these guys ever since COVID started, and I kind of reached out to them, and they mentioned your name as well. I kind of wanted to see what they were up to these days. So yeah, tell us all about this. You have a fundraising class coming up.
So Anne and I go a long way back. I've known Anne for the last 14 years now. And when I saw Anne doing this, I said, hey, how can I help? Can I do a fundraiser class for you guys? And she goes, oh yeah, I'd be delighted if you can do something like this. So we came up with a menu. So we've decided that we'll be doing this on August 23rd at 4 p.m. I'll send out the Zoom info to anyone who signs up. The class is going to have, we decided we'll do all the popular dishes that people all the time. The one recipe that they all ask me is butter chicken and chana masala. So I figured, okay, we'll do both, right? So we're doing butter chicken, chana masala, roti, and then can you guess what the dessert is, Dave?
I cannot.
It's mango lassi.
Oh, well, there it is. Okay, so
Because, you know, you want to cool down.
Leslie just recently.
Yep, so it's all these 4, and we're going to make rotis as well. So it's unleavened bread, like flat bread that we make. So I'm going to teach how to make rotis, and we're going to do all of these recipes together starting at 4. The classes only cost $60, and the funds go directly, you're paying directly to Feed the Frontlines 916. And it's really cool because, you know, they're taking this money, going to restaurants that have been closed. So the restaurants are cooking the food, and it's getting delivered to our emergency health workers, and they are our blood right now. They're the ones, it's not political, it's nothing, right? They are the ones who are serving, and that's all that matters, and we need to be there for them.
Those are the heroes of today, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it is taking care of them. It's not just feeding them, but also these restaurants. This is feeding our economy directly. This is keeping people open, keeping businesses open, keeping employees out there paying their rent and everything they need to do, right? And so
Yes.
it just helps on so many different levels. I love those guys, love what they're doing. They're old friends. I used to work for the Mikasich family, if I can throw their name out there. And
Nice.
yeah, so I kind of go way back with those guys, and just love seeing what they're doing these days. So
yeah, it's a win-win situation all over, right? The people are donating funds when we want to say thank you to them, and this is a neat way to say thank you. Let's cook together, bring your family together. They can cook in their kitchens, you know, as a family. And like you said, heart of the family is in the kitchen, and that's where you want to show all the love.
So how can people sign up for these classes?
So they go to Feed the Frontlines 916, and on their page, they have a link for fundraisers, and they have the Indian meal. So they just need to click on that, pay the $60, and please notate that you're doing this for the cooking classes so they know. And then once we get that information, I'll send them, like if they sign up today, we're going to be sending them the recipes today so they can shop for all the ingredients. And then a day before the class, we'll send out the Zoom info so that the Zoom information doesn't get lost. And they join in, and we all cook together.
Awesome. So again, as you're going onto that website, make sure you're talking about the cooking classes, right? Lay it on down.
Yes.
And she's doing it right, guys. She's got the recipes all coming to you. And so you can get there, cook along. Could the kids cook along with it?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
My little fellow does a little bit of cooking with me as well. So yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I know if you've ever seen any of Shankari's videos, her son is awesome, and he's always there interacting and everything. So we should get cooking, and I wanted to ask you about one more thing, but we should get cooking. I don't want to take your whole evening up. So talk about where we're going today.
So today what I thought was, why not I showcase some recipe, like, you know, first showcase some spices that we typically use in our kitchen, right? And can you see my spices now, Dave?
They look beautiful. I'm going to shrink myself down so they can see that better.
Okay.
Look at that.
So I wanted to share the spices that I typically use in my cooking. And so I'm bringing all my spices. So what we typically call these spice boxes are called masala dabbas. So this is how we have our spices sitting. But in this spice box, I have all my beans and legumes because I share about all the beans and legumes we use in our cooking classes. But typically, this is how we save all our, we store our I can't talk. Store all our spices. All right.
Yeah.
So they're called masala dabba. Masala means spices. Dabba means box in Hindi.
Can you
The spices that I typically use, and I don't use all of them every day because then everything is going to taste exactly the same if I'm using one spice mix fits all kind of deal, right? So I
Yes.
come from the southern part of India. So in the South India, we typically just season, with it's hot like how it is here right now today. All right. So that's how the South Indian weather is pretty tropical, pretty hot. So you want dishes to be super simple. So what we would do is we'll just season the oil. We'll heat some oil, season it with mustard seeds, we'll maybe some cumin seeds, freshly grated coconut, salt, and then we'll add the steamed vegetables to it, be it beans or carrots or beets, whatever it is, and it's done. That's all we do because we want something simple and easy to get going because you don't want heavy dishes, especially when it's,
Super.
hot, right?
Yeah,
You want
super
something
hot. Hey,
simple. Yep, go ahead.
I was going to ask, so you mentioned toasting them in oil a little bit. What kind of oil is it important to use a certain kind of oil?
Not necessarily. I like growing up, my mom used only sesame oil a lot. And it's not the toasted sesame oil that you use in Asian market, the ones that you find in Asian markets. It's much more mellow. And we use that a lot in our cooking. But right now, I've been using olive oil because that's what I have at home. So I just use olive oil in my cooking. You could use ghee, you could use olive oil, coconut oil, whatever you like. The spices that you see here, I have mustard seeds, cloves, I have dry roasted and ground coriander powder, and then I have turmeric, which is a great antiseptic, antibiotic. It has super anti-inflammatory characters. Then we have two fun spices. We have green cardamom, and then we have black cardamom. Now, green cardamom is what we use in our chai, and black cardamom is used in some spice mixtures like garam masala, some garam masalas, some like, even if you're making tandoori chicken, you could use some of the black cardamom to give it that smoky flavor because that's what it gives us. Then we have dry roasted and ground cumin. Then I have my cayenne, which I'm using here. And then this is a beautiful spice, mace. And then I have the nutmeg that grows inside. It's almost like a flower, right? And then you have the nutmeg, and then you have your maize. And this came from my friend's backyard, so I
I was
love
going to
it.
ask, where do you get whole nutmeg with a mace attached to it? I don't usually see that around.
Yes, you won't see it. This grew in her backyard. She runs a blog too, and so she mailed it to me from Kansas. It came from her hometown in India. She mailed it to me, and my mailbox smelled fragrant for quite a few days. It was fantastic.
Wow.
And the
That's
last
wow.
one here that I deliberately waited to speak about is garam masala. Now, garam masala, garam means hot, masala means spices. So every family has their own version of garam masala, right? So you'll find every family they'll be adding, some families will add your black cardamom. My mom's never heard of black cardamom till she came to the United States and saw my masala dabba because we don't use it.
That's
Some
good
won't,
stuff.
some will use dried red peppers and some will use, like I use only black pepper. Reason being my son doesn't like spicy food, so I tend to add black pepper instead of dried red peppers in my garam masala. The
Oh,
South Indians will use fennel. The North Indians might not use fennel. So it's so different and versatile. And so there is no such thing as curry powder in Indian cooking. All right.
that
We
is the moral of the story right there, folks. And no such thing as one garam masala.
Exactly. There's no such thing as curry powder. You do not want to use curry powder in your cooking because then everything is going to taste exactly the same. And
Can I just do a quick disclaimer here? Because I did originally call this show Curry Safari, but this really isn't about curry. It's about spices overall, right? It's
yes,
bigger than just curry. Just wanted to put
yes,
that out there in
yes.
case anyone was looking specifically for curry.
So, like I was thinking, why not we showcase how to make, like how would you grind spices, dry roast and grind spices? I keep getting this question, and so I thought, why not show how to dry roast and grind spices and do something super simple. Bean salad is super easy to put together. With bean salad, all you want to do is you really want to um, it's too hot. I don't want to cook today. That's basically my problem right now. If I'm going to start cooking potatoes, my kitchen is going to get super hot, right? And so I thought, why not? We can do a bean salad. I have, what kind of beans do I have? Let me look. I think I have white beans. I have the white kidney beans here, all right? And then I have some organic northern beans. I have a can of garbanzo beans. So I'm gonna throw all that together, and maybe I'll dry roast these spices and then grind it and add that to my salad. How do you like that? And we'll add a whole lot of other things to it.
I think I like that a lot, because one of the things I often talk about is if you're using spices and something cold, if you just add a dry spice to it right out of the jar, like a ground spice, it's not going to blend into that salad, and it's not going to release flavor. So I really like where this is going. I talk about this sort of thing so much myself. I love
Okay,
this.
so my pan is smoking hot right now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm using just a cast iron skillet here. I'm gonna take roughly a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Rajesh, could you open the cans for me, please? And I'm gonna start sauteing this. My mom would say, when you start seeing the cumins dance, it's ready. Yes, so it'll start moving just a little bit, and she'd go, when it starts doing that, it's ready. But what I would tell
When
you
it
guys
dance,
is,
yeah.
yes,
When it
that
starts to dance, yeah.
it just moves just a little bit. But what you're really looking for is it for it to slightly change color, all right? And once it changes color, and you're going to get this beautiful fragrant smell of cumin seeds because the oils are all releasing, and that's when you know it's ready for you to take this off. And it has slightly changed color. I transfer it to my mortar and pestle right away. And then I'm gonna add some whole coriander seeds. About half a teaspoon is what I'm using. And while that's happening, I'm gonna start grinding my whole cumin seeds. And the reason I do this right away is because the oils are still releasing, and it's so easy when it's hot to start grinding them. And you're not looking for, you know, like a factory style ground cumin seeds. You just want coarsely ground cumin seeds.
I like that. You're almost just bruising them a little bit.
Yep.
I kind of like that appearance of seeing little bits of spice in my food, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of
because
that,
then you know what's in it, right?
yeah, you know there's real cooking going on.
And see, this is what it looks like. Can you see that?
I sure can.
Okay. So then now my coriander seeds are right here, and they're getting nice and toasty. Let me transfer this to a plate.
I think people can see it dancing right now. They're in there dancing.
See the coriander dancing. All right, and then I'm going to transfer this. And that's all the stove cooking I'm going to do today. Because,
That's awesome.
right, it's too hot to be using the stove. So my coriander. And to this, you know what I'm going to do is add some black pepper, if I have some. Throw some black pepper in.
That's not one that I'm typically used to seeing. Is that very common in curry powders and things like that? Black pepper?
Yes, we do use a lot of black pepper. Kerala, the southern state of India, is where the most pepper is grown. And like even if Costco, their little containers will say it comes from Kerala. We have pepper chicken, which is a very popular dish. So here you have black pepper, cumin, and coriander, right? Now with cumin, like I have a raita, which is like a yogurt salad that we make, yogurt and cucumbers in there, nothing else but just chopped yogurt, chopped cucumbers, whisked yogurt, and then I'm going to add some salt, and then some freshly roasted cumin, and that is all is needed to give it that oomph in that salad.
Cucumber, yogurt,
Salt
cumin, salt.
and pepper. Isn't
Beautiful.
that neat? All
Yes,
right, so I'm gonna
so
get
simple.
all my, so what do I need in my, oh, my salt fell down here.
Oh no.
All right,
And
and I'm
it makes
back.
me crazy when there's spills and things like that. You got to stop and clean it up.
Yes, I can't move to the next thing till I finish cleaning. So I'm gonna get a bowl for all my beans, and I'll tell you what all I'm gonna add to my beans. I have one more can. So I'm gonna add garbanzo beans, white kidney beans, and then your organic northern beans. So
Yes.
all that goes into my little mesh strainer here.
Well, I
This
thought
is
the
what
northern beans were going to be the biggest. I was wrong. Those kidneys are large.
yep. And then my garbanzo beans goes in. You could add any kind of beans you wanted. I'm going to get this rinsed by my sous chef who's right here.
Oh, that is so nice.
And
Fancy.
then what else do we need in this? Mango. I like to use mango, some red onions that's sitting here. And then what I like to add is jicama. They add that nice crunch to your salad, and it's really refreshing to have it. Now, I don't have cucumbers today. If not, I would have used cucumbers as well. So I'm going to put all of this in a glass container. But let's talk about mangoes. All right, with mangoes, I grew up eating mangoes every single day in summer because
You're
my
a lucky
family
kid.
had mango groves. So we would always have my grandparents would send mangoes from our village. So we always had mangoes, a whole lot. And we did none of this. All we did was we would hold the mango like this, just peel it off with our mouth, the top part, and then it was our the peeler was our teeth.
Yeah, you
We
just
would
eat it from there.
I,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
and eat the whole thing. If my mom was cutting it for dinner, then she would do this and then cut them into small pieces for us, and um, that was our dessert. Every day mangoes, and then we were asked to drink milk after we had mangoes because she would say that mango heats up your body, and maybe it was just her excuse to make us drink milk. I don't know, but after mangoes, we had to drink some milk, and then but
Interesting.
the real fight happened about who gets the seed, because that's
Can
the
you can you talk about how you're kind of cutting that seed, how it's elongated?
so the seed is right here in a mango. So it's right here. So you're cutting close to the seed on one side, and then you're going to cut this side off. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I was trying to teach my son how to cut a mango yesterday. He
I
goes,
saw him.
"Oh, I didn't know how to cut a mango like that." And I said, "It's almost like cutting an avocado, except that you cannot, do that with the mango."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the part we fought for,
I
because
was going
this
to
was
say,
so
oh
cute.
yeah, I love that part.
This is so cool to hold and eat it. That was, yeah.
It's I was just going to say, I think more American kids need that experience of eating a mango like you were just describing a minute ago. Just eating the thing without peeling it.
And to just touch and feel the fruits. And yeah, we grew up not eating with forks and spoons. We ate with our fingers. So I don't know, I think that's the coolest feeling and the cleanest fork and spoons you'll ever get, right?
Well, absolutely. And it's just one of those childhood memories. This is we were talking about that earlier with you in the kitchen with your mother. It's those are memories are so strong and they just pull you back. Everyone has
Exactly.
memories and I've always said food is the thing that can bring us all together, get everybody around a table for a dinner and drop the politics for a while and let's just eat and relax, and people forgot how to do that, I think. And
Yes, it is true. And, like in our house, when I was growing up, what we did was we always sat at the dining table, and we talked about what happened in school, what happened in, just our day to day, whatever we did. And that was so much, that's the thing I remember now, right? So my beans go in there.
3 beans and mango. That's all we have in there.
As
This
of
is
now.
so easy. Don't you agree? Cooking is easy. None of
It
this is rocket
is.
science.
It's not rocket science. It's super easy. I'm just going to throw a red onion in because I like the flavor of red onion, and just big
Well, I would have
chunks
asked for
because,
some if you didn't put it in there.
and I like it. And it's big chunks, so if somebody doesn't like it, they can take it off, you know?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah,
And
larger
then
pieces. You can.
I got these at Trader Joe's today, so I'm going to use that.
Was this the jicama?
Yes, the jicama is
Okay.
going in.
And yeah, texture, people.
Isn't this beautiful? Rajesh, there's a mini bell peppers in the fridge. I could use that too, and that'll add a lot of color. I love bell peppers, the mini bell peppers.
That jicama's got a little bit of sweetness too. That'll work with that mango.
Yep. There,
Very
I
nice.
have these, so why not use these too, right?
Oh, the little peppers, yeah.
I
like
love the color.
Yeah,
I
and
love
you
how
don't always
sweet they are.
You don't always need a whole pepper, you can just
Yep.
grab 1 or 2 of those and it's enough for your dish.
Yeah, I'm gonna just wash them. I'll be right back. This is
Well,
what
ladies and
happens when you
gentlemen-
don't prepare.
Well, that was quick. I was going to talk for a minute.
Go ahead, keep talking.
If you guys are just getting here, by the way, Ms. Shankari, she is doing a fundraising class for Feed the Frontlines 916. You guys should check it out. Look around. You'll find the cooking classes in there, the fundraising section, and just pay. They are $60 classes. And just make sure that you mention that you are looking for the cooking classes. And in that little short amount of time I was talking, look at the color change on this salad.
It's beautiful, right?
Ah. We eat with our eyes, right? The purple, the orange, the yellow. I love it.
Okay, so we have this here. I'm going to add my freshly ground spices, my salt. So I have some sea salt here that I'm adding. Then I have this mixture of cumin and coriander and black pepper. So I'm going to add that. Not a whole
love
lot.
it. I love how simple it is.
Just 2 teaspoons probably. That's just a rough amount that I'm using. And then I'm going to squeeze a lime in it.
That acid is nice. You got to have a little acidity.
You know,
And
seeds
there
in
she
this.
goes.
So,
Sometimes those limes don't have enough juice for me.
yep, I'm using a whole lime.
Yeah.
And then I'll check, and if I need more, I can use more. Hey, I have corn and cilantro. I could use corn and cilantro in this too.
You know, that's one of my little guilty pleasures. I throw that frozen corn into everything.
You know what?
Time.
I got fresh corn from Costco the other day. They had organic ones, which I typically don't find. So I'm going to use one of it just because we have it. Why not, right?
I love it. Right off the cob.
And these are.
If you weren't doing any more cooking, yes, folks, you can eat raw corn. I think a lot of American kids don't know that one either.
Oh gosh, yeah, you can eat them. They're so nice and tender.
And it's another sweet ingredient.
Yep.
Peppers, mango, corn, jicama.
What's not to like in this salad?
What's not to like?
Everything goes in. That's my messy cutting board.
The thing is, you could work almost anything into it.
I don't know. What else do you think we can add in this?
My question was going to be, gosh, what couldn't we add in this? We can, you've got beans. What couldn't you do with them? You could just take this any direction you wanted to go.
See how pretty it looks. You know what's the other thing you could add is avocados.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Avocados will look pretty. There are a lot of people who don't like cilantro, but I love cilantro, or any herb that you want to add. I would add some green to it. So I'll probably do cilantro.
Folks, when I'm throwing herbs into something like this, I throw a ton of herbs in there. It is a salad. I like to see some green. So I kind of almost make herb salad sometimes. I'm guilty of that. if you
I
will.
love, I love tabbouleh just because it has so much parsley in it.
People, yeah, I hate seeing tabbouleh with that doesn't have enough herbs in it. You never see enough herbs in tabbouleh. And you're just rolling on through, kind of a chiffonade looking cut, a rough chiffonade, if you will, slicing rather than chopping.
Yep. And I like to leave some leaves whole, just so you know what's in there.
Nice. Like with the spice, those tiny spice seeds, exactly the same. Nice. It's all coming together.
That's it. My
Fruit,
dinner is done.
vegetables.
Thanks to you, Dave.
Well, gosh, yeah, I don't feel like I help very much, but it's all good stuff. I love that conversation of or just teaching a skill that someone can vary in different directions. For instance, we're doing our East Indian spices here, but we could have taken this salad to Mexico or China or anywhere else.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. You could just you just have to play with your flavors, right? Like cumin and coriander is used even in Mexican cooking, right? So
Absolutely.
if you wanted to, you could have taken a pinch of the taco seasoning that you have and added to that to get it that Mexican flavor. Add some cheese to it if you wanted to. I could use paneer to this, which is an Indian cheese that we use a lot in our cooking if I wanted to, but I'm not going to because I just want this to be simple. I don't want to grill paneer right now. I don't want to touch the stove. So this is a simple one to make.
Yeah.
Um, these are so easy to play with. If you wanted to, you could have added like, a pinch of garam masala to this. You could have added, some other flavor profile to this. But I figured I'll keep this nice and simple because I have freshly roasted and ground cumin and coriander. What can go wrong with that? So I've said, okay, I'm just going to do that. Salt, pepper, lime juice, and that was it. If you want to give it that kick, we could add jalapenos to it.
There you go, right? And the
Yeah.
big takeaway I would say is like that development of flavor as through the toasting, right? I'd say
Yes.
that's the big takeaway today.
Yes, absolutely.
Works with all the spices. One thing I commonly recommend is try to get the whole spices instead of ground, and you can do that yourself, right? It just makes so much sense.
Yeah, I like to grind them fresh at home because then they, this I do this in the experiment at the co-op. I'll dry roast and grind spices, and then I'll pull out one of those jars of ground spices and go smell these two and see how phenomenally different they are.
Absolutely.
The aroma is just there. It's so fragrant when you freshly roast and grind spices versus something in a bottle.
Well, like buying coffee that's ground 6 months ago, right?
Exactly.
It's just not the same cup of coffee.
Yes.
So great. Yeah, so great. Let's see. I just want to make sure that we covered everything. We talked about your kids' classes. Do you want to kind of throw that out again for us?
Sure. The kids' class, I'm calling it Passport to the World. I find that we don't get our kids exposed to so many different cuisines that are out there. And so I thought I'm not going to do a class where there's no cutting and prepping. We're going to do real cooking, right? So we're going to have stoves used. We're going to be using our blenders. We're going to use knives. So I'm recommending this class for 10 years or older, but you know your kids. If you think your kids are good with all of this and you can help in the kitchen, then we'll do it. So the first one, we're going to do India, where we're going to do vegetable pulav and mango lassi. But what I want to do is also teach a little bit of history through this, right? So I want to talk about why the Britishers came to India. Why were we, why did other countries come and take over for our spices, and talk about all those different things. And then we're going to do Japan. So we're going to cook rice. We're going to learn how to cook fluffy white rice, and then chicken teriyaki. And then the third country we're going to travel to is Thailand. So we'll learn about different cultures, like how would you greet someone? What do you used to eat? Like in Thailand, they eat with forks and spoons. They'll take the spoon to scoop it out, and then, so there's so many different things, and there's no course by course meal. So those are the things I want to teach. Those are the things that children should be exposed to learn different cultures. So I thought this would be a neat way to do it. So the third one, we're going to do chicken satay and peanut sauce. And if somebody has allergies to peanuts, we'll give them substitutions and see how they can work around with it.
Sun butter sauce or something. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Very awesome. I saw you had those three lined up. I imagine if they start taking off, you're just going to be taking them all over the world. It sounds like an
Yes.
international cooking school, if you will, for
Yes, that's
kids,
the
right?
plan.
And I would imagine adults might learn a little bit from it too, right?
Yes, and I'm doing adults classes as well, which I say children are welcome too, but yep.
Yeah, it's just that food is so engaging, it makes it easy to teach things like history and math and things like that, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's a great entree into math and other things like that. So really good stuff. We talked about Feed the Front Lines, folks. Check that out. We played with a bunch of spices today with Shankari Arcot. She was super, super great, and I can see why everyone is talking about her in Sacramento. All the chef people, all the culinary people I know, right? Let's see, last thing, I wanted to shout out to Henri, if she's watching out there, okay? Henri, if you're watching, good morning. She is my one person that is watching from another country. This kind lady has made it possible for me to call this an international show. Okay, so I wanted to shout out to Henri if you're out there, okay? Shankari, you also helped me make it a little bit international today too, okay? Mixing it up with some different spices that I think, hey, a lot of American kids probably don't see every day, it's a good thing. And if I can talk to any kids out there today, please eat a mango like you're supposed to eat a mango.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe I should do a video of how to eat a mango.
Gosh, just get all wet and dripping and all over the
Yes,
place. That
exactly.
sounds fun. Play some good music to it, flashing lights, disco, I don't know. Shankari, thanks so much, and thanks everyone out there. I am going to edit this up. I'm going to get it back out on the YouTube machine, and so you guys can kind of watch it. I'll have all the information about Feed the Front Lines up there, and Shankari's Cooking School, Sacramento Spice. Please do look her up, and you won't be disappointed, okay? Last thing I'm going to say, like I always say at the end, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that the party is always in the kitchen, okay? That's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much, everybody, and bye.
Thank you, Dave.
Bye, Shankari.
Bye.
Whoop.